Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Racha, Chodash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder, Aharawan Banya Sharala of the Lions Den Camp, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. Also, salutations to the Sintiaki, pushing this truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Harab Banya Sharala, coming out of the Lions Den Camp of Yasharala. And today I'll be coming out with a lesson. And of course, it's according to this little IUIC, ISUPK fiasco. We both know that those groups are very contentious groups, very, very combative groups, you know. And we just showing, basically the Lord just showed us the fruits, of these groups. They didn't handle that situation with any righteousness of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, but because they don't have the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So without further ado, I'm not gonna do too much talking on it. I'm gonna just give scriptures. This is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 30. It says, "Strive not with a man without cause, if he has done thee no harm." So you're not out here supposed to be striving with another man or other groups or just another man in period without a reason, without a cause. Especially if this man has done no harm to you. If he has done you no wrong. You shouldn't be out here striving. You shouldn't be out here, with contention, and hatred and malice, teaching. But a lot of these cats, this is how they do. They come out to the streets and they teach this way. Because they may have the bones and the sinew, but they don't have the spirit. They don't have the breath of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, which makes you righteous. They stand on their feet, but they're not going about the work the right way. That whole little thing is just another excuse for Esau to try to paint with broad strokes, to try to say all men and women and children that call themselves Israelites are contentious and combative like that. And that's just simply not true. Because again, you have 2/3 of our people, a small percentage of them probably know that they're Israelites, and then you have the 1/3 of Israel. So you have Israel and you have the Israel of God. The Israel of God are those, or Israel of Yahweh Yahushua, are what the true men of the Lord that speak according to the doctrine, that speak according to the truth, that do the work of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua willingly, not by constraint or for filthy lucre's sake, as these other two groups do. But nonetheless, let's get back to verse 30. You're not to strive with the man without any cause. If that man has not trespassed and crossed you or threatened you in any kind of way, form, or fashion, there is no need to strive, especially if no harm has been done. But they never displayed the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua in that fiasco. Let's continue. Let's keep going. Let's see. And Salakia, none of these normally the Most High, he'll give me a lesson, I write it down. But this is not one of those times, so forgive me. Let's see. I'll read Proverbs chapter 9, verse 10. It says, "The fear of the Lord Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding." So when you start to fear Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, that's the beginning of wisdom. That's the beginning of Him being able to use you. That's the beginning of you being meat for use. And the knowledge of the holy is understanding. So to having the knowledge of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, the holy things, that's the understanding. But as you can see with that fiasco, they those two groups, they did not display anything of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So but let's continue. Let's see. This is Proverbs chapter 10, verse 12. It says, "Hatred stirreth up strifes, but love covereth all sins." So it's the hatred that stirreth up the strife. And of course, it was hatred between them two. And again, ISUPK is known for bullying, but IUIC is also known for bullying. So basically, it was, for lack of a better term or a better explanation, it was an immovable object meets an unstoppable object. There's going to be a clash, and as you can see, hatred stirreth up strife, and that was hatred. That whole energy was off. in that whole little fiasco, that little video, whatever. But it says a sin covereth up. I mean, like it, but it says love covereth sins. Loving Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, repenting, showing love to those that may hate you. But hatred stirreth up strife, and those guys have a lot of hatred within them. So they're always willing to strive against something, even when it's right. Both of those groups. Let's continue. Let me see. Like you bear with me. Let's see. All right. This is Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1. It says, a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. And as you look at that video from the various Akim, and the elders around, saying that reigned in on this subject, it says a soft answer turneth away wrath. It could have been like dealt with or handled differently, but how it played out is how Yahweh Shai wanted it to play out. But a soft answer is what turneth away wrath. A soft answer is what turns away wrath. But it says grievous words stir up anger. So somebody is contentious or comes with a combative energy, well, your soft answer will nullify that. It'll turn away the wrath of that person. It'll put out, put that fire, that fire out, and stop them from being the way that they are. But it says, but grievous words, harsh words, disrespectful words, that is what stirreth up wrath. That is what causes problems. And of course, you always got the ad hominem attacks, no matter how they try to disguise it. And that's what was going on. There was, ISUPK, they was saying what they were saying, and whatever IUIC was saying, but because, ISUPK had the little megaphone, the microphone with the speaker, it was kind of over talking them, so I couldn't really hear. But ISUPK was the ones talking trash. So they were the ones that was using grievous words, and eventually it stirred up anger. But they was already ready for that. They came out looking for that. Let me get something real quick. Shalakia. Let's go to James chapter 3 real quick, and I'm going to go back to Proverbs. This is James. This is James chapter 3. Verse 16, it says, for where envying and strife is, there is confusion and every evil work. So where there is envy and strife, there is confusion, and that whole situation was a bunch of confusion because you had both of them combating against each other, trying to overtalk each other. And it says where there's envy, and of course, ISUPK has envy too as well. It is within them. That's why they go up, and like they say, the camp banging, they go up and be this messing with other camps, claiming territory that belong to Esau, and that's a very contentious and envying spirit that they have within them. But where envy and strife is, there is also confusion, and that whole situation was nothing but confusion and every evil work. So the fact that they say they stand for what's right, they just showed the Heavenly Father, just showed the world, the congregation, that he doesn't deal with these two groups and that they don't stand for what's true and for what's right. That's a blot and a blemish on them. And it's probably only going to get worse with these groups. And they're the ones that would probably cause Esau already want to move, but they'll be the groups that get Esau the excuse to go ahead and do it, or make an attempt to do it. Because why? Because they're full of envying, they're full of strife. Let's see. All right, Con. ISUPK, they teach for contention. They go out looking for problems. Let's go to Philippians. This is their MO. You're seeing it with your own two eyes. That's their MO. That's how they roll. This is Philippians chapter 15. So like your chapter 1 verse 15. It says, some indeed preach Hamashiach, even of envy and strife, and some also of goodwill. So there you go. You have some that preach for envy and strife on purpose to cause problems. But then you also have those who are of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua that preach of goodwill, that want to tell our people the good news, the gospel. But you have some that preach for strife and contention. Verse 16. The one preach Hamashiach of contention not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my bond. So you have one group, or both of those groups really don't teach for Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. But we know for a fact, it's evident that ISUPK is that group that preach Hamashiach, but they preach of contention. That's why they go. Just take what they did with the brothers up there in Pittsburgh. Them brothers was teaching, very edifying lesson, and what they did, they came up hooting and hollering, ranting and raving like those howler monkeys over there in the wilderness, if I'm not mistaken, in the Amazon, claiming that a man that is not righteous at all, that's his block, that's his property, when we are slaves here in this kingdom and we don't own anything. Esau, that's Esau concrete, that's Esau block. It is not Johannes. It does not belong to Nate. It doesn't belong to neither one of them. And of course, you already know it says, the one preach Hamashiach of contention not sincerely. And of course, those guys, they're out there, they're not preaching out of sincerity. They're not. Because of what? Pride. You can hear it, you can feel it, you can sense it in the video. It's pride. So they're not doing the work of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua and sincerely. And they add affliction to bonds. They just come out there and make things difficult. But let's continue. Let's go back to Proverbs. I'm gonna just read verse 10 of Proverbs chapter 15, because this is something that neither one of these groups can take. This is Proverbs chapter 15, verse 10. It says, correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die. And they have forsaken the way. So correction is grievous unto them. It's, when the real men of the Lord hear something and see a topic and harp on it, is because the Heavenly Father put the Spirit on that brother or brothers to harp on this topic and to bring out the edification and the doctrine the right way so that people can be taught. But see, these other groups, that correction, that rebuke, that reproach, that blame is grievous unto them. They don't like it. Because why? Because they have forsaken the way of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. They have forsaken the way of truth. And when you hate reproof as they do, you're going to die. I mean, you're going to get destroyed. I'm going to jump back a chapter. This is Proverbs 14 and 18. 17. He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly, and a man of wicked devices is hated. So he that is soon angry, he gonna deal foolishly. This first time you get angry and get aggravated, you gonna mishandle the situation. You're gonna miss the lesson that you could have learned and that could have been taught to the other party. And when you are of wicked devices, you're gonna be hated anyway. Wicked deeds. So he that is soon angry dealeth foolishly. Look at the video. What happened from ISUPK side? The side, one of the members from IUIC moved the chair again to try to get their equipment or whatever. And what happened? He immediately put hands on the man. Because why? Because he was soon angry. And when you soon angry, you deal foolishly. Let's continue. This is Proverbs chapter 16, verse 32. Verse 28. I'm going to jump up to verse 28. Verse 27. It's like it. An ungodly man diggeth up evil, and in his lips there is a burning fire. So an ungodly man is going to dig up evil. An ungodly man or men, they're going to dig up evil. What? They're going to cause problems. There is what? A burn, and there is in his lips there is a burning fire. Meaning, guess what? He's ready to say something out the way to you. Want to say something hurtful and wicked. Grievous words stir up wrath and anger. It says, a soft answer turneth away wrath. But that ungodly man is going to dig up evil, and what in his lips is going to be a burning fire. His words are going to be grievous. Verse 28. A froward man soweth strife, and a whisperer separateth chief friends. So a perverse man is going to sow strife, and that's what was happening with that. That one that decided to get mad because somebody moved the chair. He is that perverse man, that froward man, sowing strife, and a whisperer separated the chief friends. So somebody that's a backbiter, that's going behind somebody back and talking. They separate chief friends, close friends, good friends. Verse 29. A violent man enticeth his neighbor, and leadeth him into the way that is not good. And the truth of the matter is, these House of Saul camps, they're violent men. They entice their neighbor, as we seen in the video. It was already contention out there. And when it comes down to IUIC, all you got to do is just ask legitimate questions according to the scriptures and bring out scriptures, and they'll immediately get contentious. They immediately start yelling and hollering and screaming. because the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Shai is not there. How? The bishop of this camp. He was running some errands one day and he ran across IUIC, so he decided to stop. And he was asking legit questions according to the scriptures. And what did they do? They started hooting and hollering, jumping around and acting like chimpanzees. Because why? Because they don't have the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Shai. And they are violent men as well. And the Lord showed that in that video. But a violent man is always going to try to entice his neighbor, his brother, into a way that is not good. Fighting. Thinking, you know how Jake is, thinking he want the smoke. Until he run up on somebody that don't have smoke, all they got is a complete inferno. Then Jake want to change his mind, but it's too late. But that should be a lesson not to run up on any grown men infringing or encroaching in space that you don't own. If somebody was there first, keep it moving, move on. But a violent man is going to entice his neighbor and going to lead him into a way that is not good. Let's continue. Let's go to verse 32 of Proverbs 16. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh the city. So he that is slow to anger is better than the mighty man. The man that don't get mad, that don't get angry quick, that's patient, he is better than a mighty man. And he that ruleth his spirit is better than one that can take a whole city by himself or with the army. So it's better to go according to the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Shai, according to the doctrine, according to how the Heavenly Father has set it up to do. We have seen a classic example of how not to be. That's what the Lord is basically saying. That's what he's showing us. Don't be like them. And the real true men of the Lord are not like that. Of course, you know, we humans, so we're going to have differences. But that was a public display of the spirit of pride and contention and strife at work, rather than the spirit of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding of Yahweh Yahweh Shai. That was not the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. If I can recall, I forget what book it is. As a matter of fact, I'm finna find it. I'm finna get it. This is 1 Corinthians. This is Paul talking to the church of Corinth. I'm gonna read chapter 12, verse 25. Let me see if I can start up. I'm gonna just read verse 25 and get straight to it. It says that there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care for one another. So it should be no schisms. And I was just talking about within these different churches. Shouldn't be no isms and schisms. But of course, with those two congregations, it's a lot of ism and it's a lot of schism. But Paul was like, don't let that be found in the body. Have care for one another. Even so, what if they don't teach with you? Don't mean you don't have the right to disrespect them. So you ain't supposed to have that kind of stuff going on. Let's see if I can find a few more scriptures, then I'm gonna end it. All right, let's see. Here we go. Proverbs 17 and 18. It says, a man void of understanding striketh hands, and becoming surety in the presence of his friend. So when you you void of understanding, you're gonna be quick to throw hands. Because Salakia. Salakia for that. I thought it was gonna be some background noise. But when you're void of understanding, you're gonna be quick to throw hands. You're gonna be quick to mishandle the situation. And you're gonna become like anybody that's the same way as you. You're gonna become surety, confident in the presence of your friend. They go, oh yeah, bro gonna fight. Anything, bro gonna throw them hands. And that ain't the way to be when it comes down to your how about your shot. There's a time and a place for everything. Now, ain't nothing wrong with defending yourself if you are attacked. But don't be the aggressor in the situation. Be the one that's trying to de-escalate the situation. And if you can't de-escalate the situation, get out from around it. And don't have no dealings with that person and or people of that type of energy. Well, let's continue. Okay, verse 19. He that loveth transgression, that loveth strife. See, and he that exalteth his gate seeketh destruction. So again, when you love transgression, you love strife. And those guys love transgression, especially ISUPK. They love transgressions, and those that like transgression love strife. That's why Jake liked to be hard-headed. Being hard-headed, disobedient, and not listening to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that's strife. That's strife towards the Father. And guess what? You exalt your gate, you're going to seek destruction. You're going to find destruction. And that's been, and again, it was only a matter of time before that happened to one of those many groups, ISUPK. And again, same thing with IUIC. So what if IUIC acted in defense? Doesn't really matter. Because how many times have they done the same thing? This is evidence for this is what the Heavenly Father is using. He's showing physical evidence. Who he is dealing with and who he is not dealing with. And he not dealing with the Church of Nu Saibot nor the Church of Rain. Mortal Kombat references. Because Rain wear purple and Nu Saibot wear black. IUIC wear purple, ISUPK wear black. Keep that understanding. Let's continue. All right, I got one more. Let's go to Sirach. Chapter 28, verse 12. Verse 11. Well, verse 10. Verse 9. A sinful man disquieteth friends, and maketh the debate among them that be at peace. Now, again, a sinful man is going to disquiet friends. It's going to cause a problem. It's going to cause tomfoolery, and maketh the debate among them that be at peace. Now, IUIC was probably there first. More than likely, they probably was. More than likely, they probably was. So guess what? IUIC probably was minding their business. But the sinful man, we'll say ISUPK, the sinful man came up and disquieted them, caused debate among them, caused contention and strife. They probably was minding their business. But let's continue. A sinful man, it's like it. Verse 10. As the matter of the fire is, so it burneth. And as a man's strength is, so is his wrath. And according to his riches, his anger riseth, and the stronger they are which contend, the more they will be inflamed. So just like the fire that burns, and just like a man that has great strength, so is his wrath. His wrath is just like that. It is great as his strength. And according to his riches, that's what it says, riches, his anger riseth. And the stronger they are which contend. So the more they continue to be like that and to stay in that, the more they will become inflamed, the more they will be engulfed in not paying attention and listening to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. The more they will be caught up in being more contentious and having strife, the more they will become more inflamed with these things. Verse 11, a hasty contention kindleth a fire, and hasty fighting, and so like and hasty fighting sheddeth blood. So a hasty contention, somebody that's quick to want to go left, a jump to want to fight, that's going to kindle a fire. It's going to get other people riled up. And hasty fighting is going to shed blood. Eventually somebody will get hurt. You think they would have tried what that is, Sakari like that? Them boys got whole pistols when they teach. They got dudes out there with rifles. But see, ISU ain't gonna run on that because why? Because Jake's scared of the sword. Instead of being scared of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, he fears the sword. But a hasty contention is always going to kindle a fire. It's always going to cause a problem. It's always going to make other people be ready to fight. And it only take one person that's on that tomfoolery, on that type of time. And hasty what? And hasty fighting sheddeth blood. Somebody can get hurt or even die. Verse 12. If thou blow the spark, it shall burn. You ever lit a fire or burnt something, and when it start going out, and as soon as you start blowing it, it glow real red hot. And then eventually, if you keep blowing it, it catch back on fire. That's what it's talking about here. But it's talking about more of a contentious, more fighting, anger. So if thou blow the spark, it shall burn. If thou spit on it, a soft answer turneth away wrath. But what? But grievous words stir up contention. So, but if thou spit on it, it shall be quenched. And both these come out of thy mouth. So, grievous words and also righteous words come out of your mouth. You could either blow on the spark and cause it to set fire again, or you can spit on it and put it out. You could either use grievous words or you could use a soft answer, righteous words. Both of these things come out of our mouth. I got one more. I said that was it, but I got one more. Let's go back to Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 30, verse 33. It says, surely the churning of milk bringeth forth butter, and the wringing of the nose bringeth forth blood. So the forcing of wrath bringeth forth strife. So just like if you got a butter churner and you get to churning that milk up, it's going to turn into butter eventually. Just like taking your hand and jabbing somebody in the nose, it's guaranteed to bring forth blood. The same thing is going to happen with the forcing of wrath. It is bound and guaranteed to bring forth strife. It is guaranteed to bring forth strife. So, real quick, let me see something. So, anybody on that level of tomfoolery, it's better to just get out from around them. You know, especially Jake. You know, I went through a similar situation at a job. I knew it was gonna go left if I'd have stayed at that job. Real quick. If I'd have stayed working at that job I was working at, Jake would have made me break him in half. Because I wasn't trying to be contentious. I was just trying to work. But he had a contentious anger. not anger, but contentious energy. And he was looking, I knew he was looking for anything or any way to try to get in to get to me. And I was thinking about a lot of these scriptures. And I was praying to the Heavenly Father to help, mediate the situation. Because it got to a point where I got mad. And I was like, I'm finna go ahead and do the do-over. You're gonna have to do something, but yeah. But nonetheless, the Most High have scriptures that like this that I brought out for a reason. So it'll keep us in check, keep us in line. And of course, we in this flesh, so sometimes you have to really rein it in. You have to really, really, really rein it in. Sometimes, yeah, we men. Joker be with that tomfoolery. Yeah, you want to break somebody in half. Yeah, and you'll be lying if you say you don't, or didn't want to, but you let Yahweh Hashem Yahushua handle it. Because we seen the example of not letting Yahweh Hashem Yahushua handle that. So again, I was just reining in on this little fiasco, and with that, Shalom.